There is no applause for discipline. No one claps when you say no. No one celebrates when you take the longer path, the quieter road, the colder decision. But make no mistake, those who dominate their world do not do so through chaos. They rise through structure, through control, through a private code of habits that are invisible to the distracted and unbearable to the undisciplined. If a woman wants to hold real power, not popularity, not momentary praise, but real control over her life, then she must stop waiting to be inspired and start designing her behavior. Because in this world, you are either being shaped by your environment or you are shaping it yourself. The following are 10 habits every woman must master, not for appearance, not for validation, but for quiet domination. The first habit is this: begin your day in silence. Do not invite the world into your mind before you've settled it yourself. No phone, no messages, no noise. Your first hour belongs to you and only you. How you begin your morning decides who owns your mind. And if you give that away before you even open your eyes fully, you've already surrendered. Let silence be your shield. Let presence be your first weapon. Second, style yourself with precision. This is not about vanity, it's about strategy. Every thread, every detail, every tone you wear sends a signal. You are not dressing to be liked. You are dressing to be remembered. You are not decorating yourself. You are arming yourself. Walk into a room like it's already yours. The ones who take you seriously before you speak are already halfway conquered. Third, plan your day with ruthless clarity. The day is not a suggestion. It is a battlefield. You don't float through it. You control it. You don't respond. You decide. Every yes must cost something. Every task must earn your attention. Write it out. Rank it. Prioritize like a woman who knows her time is blood. The world will pull at you from all sides. You don't win by giving everything away. Fourth, train your body not for appearance, but for discipline. Your body listens. When you push it, it strengthens. When you avoid discomfort, it softens. Movement trains the mind. Sweat is not weakness, it's memory. It tells you I am in control. I decide how far I go, how strong I become, how sharp I feel. There is nothing glamorous about it, but power rarely is. Fifth, read every day, but not passively. Read like a strategist. Read what challenges you. Read what makes your mind uncomfortable. Read what stretches your thinking. Because a sharp woman is dangerous, not because she talks the most, but because she sees what others miss. Intelligence is not a trait, it's a habit. You build it every single day, word by word. 6, journal with brutal honesty. Not with fluff, not with performance. Write what you actually feel, not what you wish you felt. Track patterns. Spot traps. Notice who drains you. Identify what triggers you. Your journal is not a diary. It is a mirror. It reflects where you're growing and where you're lying to yourself. Do not be poetic, be surgical. 7th, speak less and observe more. Silence is your advantage. Words can betray you, but observation never does. Listen closely. Watch behavior. Study tone. People reveal more when they think you're not looking. Don't fill every space. Leave silence in the room and watch who gets uncomfortable. Your presence alone should make people recalculate. 8th, master your emotions. This is not about being cold. It's about being untouchable. Do not give easy access to your reactions. If someone can provoke you, they can control you. Let your calm unsettle them. Let your indifference confuse them. Emotion is a weapon. Don't let anyone use yours against you. Learn to pause. Learn to protect your tone. Power often lies in what you don't say. 9th, protect your energy like a vault. You are not obligated to be accessible to everyone. You are not required to explain your boundaries. Say no without decorating it. Say less without apologizing for it. Cut off the draining, the dramatic, the disrespectful, quickly and cleanly. Energy is currency. Every interaction is an investment. Spend wisely. And 10th, end your day with reflection, not scrolling, not distraction. Sit with yourself. Ask, what did I do right? What did I allow that I shouldn't have? What can I do better tomorrow? Your reflection is your accountability. You cannot become powerful without confronting your patterns. Sleep should not be an escape. It should be a review. These 10 habits are not suggestions. They are tools. They are not designed to make you comfortable. They are designed to make you unbreakable. A woman who follows them daily does not need to announce herself. The world already feels her presence. She is not loud, but she is known. She is not aggressive, but she is feared. She is not perfect, but she is precise. You do not master your life all at once. You master it one habit at a time. And when you repeat those habits with intention, the world around you begins to shift, quietly, but permanently. This is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming everything you were told to tone down. Be strategic, be disciplined, be deliberate, and above all, be the woman no one forgets. Power is not always found in the loud moments of life. It's often hidden in silence, in the spaces between reaction and restraint. When a woman learns to stay calm and hold back her immediate emotional responses, she begins to operate from a place of control, not chaos. Most people are reactive. They speak as soon as they're provoked, explain themselves when questioned, or argue when challenged. But the woman who doesn't rush to respond has already won half the battle. She shows that she isn't driven by external forces, but by internal discipline. By staying calm in the face of provocation, she does something few can do. She keeps her power to herself. In daily life, this looks like pausing before answering a message that irritates you, or refusing to match the tone of someone who tries to disrespect you. It's about choosing not to explain your decisions to those who haven't earned the right to question them. It's about knowing the value of your energy and understanding that not every comment deserves a reply. Silence in this case is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's an active form of strength, a refusal to engage with things that do not elevate or challenge you in meaningful ways. The more you practice this restraint, the more you realize how many situations don't require your input to resolve themselves. People often mistake silence for submission, but those who study human behavior know better. Silence shifts the balance of power. When you don't reveal your thoughts immediately, you force others to reveal theirs first. When you don't react emotionally, you make others second-guess their tactics. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability creates leverage. A calm woman in a tense room becomes the one everyone watches because she isn't being pulled by the same strings as the rest. She isn't caught in the emotional current. She becomes the one holding the rope. This practice also strengthens inner confidence. The more you resist the urge to explain, the more you trust your own judgment, the more you delay reaction, the more you learn to act with intention instead of impulse. Over time, your calm becomes part of your identity. It becomes a quiet armor. Others feel it without you having to say a word. You no longer have to raise your voice or defend your position to be respected. Your calm presence speaks for you. It signals that you're not looking for validation because you've already decided your worth. You're not rushing to be heard because you're already listening. You're not trying to win approval because you're not playing the same game. This kind of silence isn't empty. It's full of observation, calculation, and quiet power. Beauty is often misunderstood. It's reduced to decoration, to aesthetics, to surface level appeal that fades the moment someone stops looking. But in reality, beauty is not just how you appear, it's how you manage perception. It is influence. It is silent persuasion. It is the way you walk into a room and shift its energy before saying a word. When a woman treats her appearance as a form of strategy rather than a plea for attention, she reclaims control over how she is seen and how she is remembered. She understands that every detail, her posture, her grooming, her wardrobe, her expression, is a form of nonverbal language that speaks louder than words ever could. Daily grooming is not an act of vanity. It is an act of self-respect. When you take time to prepare yourself intentionally, you reinforce that you are worth the effort. You communicate to yourself before anyone else that you take yourself seriously. This has a ripple effect. People treat you based on the standards you set for yourself. If you appear polished, calm, and in control, others will approach you with more caution, more respect, and more interest. The image you present is the opening move in any social or professional interaction. If it's sloppy or inconsistent, it sends a message that you lack direction. But if it's sharp, deliberate, and composed, it signals power. This doesn't mean you need to conform to anyone's ideal of beauty. It means you become the curator of your own image. You define your style not to impress, but to influence. You choose what your appearance communicates. A bold lipstick, a clean silhouette, and unbothered expression. All of these are visual cues, and people respond to them even if they don't realize it. When you treat your appearance like a tool rather than a display, it changes the way you move through the world. You stop asking, do they like how I look? And start asking, what does my image make them assume? That shift alone separates the woman who is consumed by opinions from the woman who quietly shapes them. Influence begins with visual presence. It opens doors before words are spoken. The woman who looks intentional is already 2 steps ahead. She doesn't have to talk her way into a room. Her appearance does the introduction for her. And once she speaks, her words carry weight because she already established a tone before the conversation even began. When this becomes a daily habit, it no longer feels like performance. It becomes part of who you are. Every detail you choose becomes a reflection of your standards. And high standards are magnetic. People may not always understand why they're drawn to you, but they feel it. They sense the difference between someone who dressed to be seen and someone who dressed to make a statement without ever needing to speak. Energy is the most valuable currency a woman possesses, yet it is the one she is most often taught to give away freely. Requests, demands, expectations. People will constantly reach for your time, your attention, your emotional labor. And unless you have clearly defined boundaries, you will spend your energy on everything except what actually matters to you. The woman who learns to guard her energy daily is the one who begins to reclaim control over her life. She stops being reactive and becomes selective. She no longer says yes to stay polite or available to appear kind. She understands that every time she says yes to something meaningless, she says no to something essential. Most people do not understand what boundaries actually are. They assume boundaries are about pushing others away or being difficult. But real boundaries are the opposite. They are a form of clarity. They make your life easier, not harder. A boundary is simply a line that says, this is how I manage my time. This is how I protect my peace. This is what I allow and what I don't. And enforcing that line doesn't require drama. It requires consistency. It requires a daily practice of choosing your energy over unnecessary obligation. Because the more access you give to others without limits, the less of yourself you actually have left. Energy must be preserved, not scattered. That means not taking every call, not responding to every message, not accepting every invitation. It means filtering your engagements through a simple question: does this feed me or does it drain me? You are not responsible for managing how others feel about your boundaries. You are only responsible for honoring them. The woman who masters this habit becomes known for her presence, not for her availability. She is not always reachable, but when she is fully there. Because she doesn't spend herself on everything, she has more to give to what actually matters. This kind of energy management is not selfish. It is intelligent. People respect what you respect. If you show them that your time and attention can be bought with guilt or flattery, they will use both. But if you show them that you do not trade your energy cheaply, they begin to adjust. Your boundaries train people how to treat you. Every day that you enforce them, you reinforce your worth. You make it known, not through argument, but through action, that your energy is not on clearance. It must be earned. To live this way requires decisiveness. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be comfortable being seen as distant by people who only valued you for your accessibility. But over time, the rewards become undeniable. You stop feeling drained. You stop overcommitting. You stop being resentful. And you start showing up to your own life with clarity, power, and intention. Because your energy is no longer in the hands of everyone else. It's finally yours. Mental sharpness is not something you're born with. It is something you build every single day through discipline, observation, and reflection. Intelligence is not just the ability to think quickly, it's the ability to see clearly. It's the ability to recognize patterns, predict outcomes, and remain composed when others lose their grip. A sharp mind is not loud. It does not need to interrupt, explain, or impress. It simply understands more than it reveals. And for a woman who wants to move through life with power, clarity, and purpose, daily mental training is non-negotiable. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours reading complex texts or speaking in intellectual circles. It means you need to become a student of life. You train your mind by observing your surroundings. You train it by listening more than you speak. You train it by asking the right questions and resisting the temptation to settle for shallow answers. You sharpen your thinking every time you sit with a book that challenges you. You strengthen your foresight every time you journal your thoughts and analyze your day with brutal honesty. Every page you read, every observation you make, every situation you reflect on adds another layer to your awareness. The goal is not to appear smart, it is to actually understand, to see what others don't, to recognize the emotions driving someone's behavior instead of reacting to the surface, to understand the structure behind the chaos, the motivation behind the words, the pattern behind the outcome. This level of awareness is not built overnight. It is the result of hundreds of small, private choices. It is built in the way you study conversations, the way you analyze your mistakes, the way you review your day as if you're editing a blueprint. Sharpness is not about knowing everything. It's about constantly refining the way you think. A woman who develops this habit becomes a strategist in her own life. She no longer gets pulled by every trend, every opinion, or every emotional wave. She sees through manipulation. She anticipates shifts, and she navigates relationships with subtlety and foresight. Her calm is not passive, it's calculated. Her silence is not emptiness, it's depth. People around her feel the difference, even if they can't name it. She isn't swayed by emotion or urgency. She moves with intention because her mind has been trained to filter distractions and focus on what truly matters. This kind of mental clarity doesn't make life easier, but it makes it clearer. You begin to see which habits hold you back. You begin to understand why certain people drain you. You begin to make faster decisions with less doubt. And most importantly, you stop being consumed by things that don't deserve your focus, because your mind becomes a tool, sharp, clean, and ready. Not for showing off, not for proving anything, but for building a life that cannot be controlled by confusion, manipulation, or weakness. Emotional detachment is often misunderstood. People assume it means coldness or indifference, but in truth, it is a form of self-control. It is the ability to separate what you feel from what you do. A woman who develops this daily habit does not shut down her emotions. She masters them. She doesn't allow them to take the lead in every interaction, every decision, or every conflict. She acknowledges how she feels, but she does not let those feelings dictate her behavior. And that control, that calm under pressure, that stillness in chaos, becomes one of the most powerful traits she can ever develop. Most people live in reaction. They are pulled by the mood of the moment. If they feel insulted, they retaliate. If they feel anxious, they panic. If they feel neglected, they beg. But emotional detachment breaks that cycle. It creates space. It gives you room to breathe before you speak, to assess before you respond, to choose your words and actions with precision. This is not about hiding how you feel. It's about making sure your emotions serve you, not sabotage you. The moment you learn to observe your emotions rather than become them, you become dangerous to those who try to control you. Daily emotional detachment is a practice. It happens in the way you pause before replying to a provoking message, in the way you smile without explaining yourself when someone challenges your decision, in the way you decline invitations without guilt, or walk away from chaos without needing to fix it. You are not shutting people out. You are protecting your emotional bandwidth. You are refusing to let others dictate the rhythm of your inner world. Emotional independence does not mean you don't care. It means you care deeply, but you choose carefully where that care goes. This habit becomes a shield. It guards you from being pulled into unnecessary drama. It protects you from emotional manipulation. People who cannot control you emotionally will often accuse you of being distant or difficult. That's because they're used to using guilt, pressure, or praise to bend others. But when they see those tactics don't work on you, they're forced to deal with you on real terms, not through control, but through respect. Your emotional detachment teaches others that access to your inner world is not free. It must be earned through consistency and trust. As you make this a daily habit, you begin to notice the peace that comes with it. You stop defending yourself to people who've already decided not to understand you. You stop trying to fix what others broke. You stop tying your worth to other people's approval, attention, or affection, and you start building a life that is rooted in clarity rather than chaos. Your emotions are no longer wild flames, they are steady light. And the woman who can walk through fire without burning everything down is the one everyone ends up watching. Not because she shouts, but because she remains unshaken. Routine is often seen as boring, restrictive, or uninspired, but that perception only comes from those who have never used routine as a weapon. The truth is, routine is not the enemy of freedom. It is the foundation of it. Chaos does not build anything lasting. Emotion does not sustain growth. Only structure does. Only consistency has the power to turn potential into something visible, something measurable, something permanent. A woman who builds routine into her daily life is not making herself smaller. She's creating a framework strong enough to carry everything she's aiming for. Power is not created in occasional bursts of motivation. It's created in the repetition of small decisions repeated every single day until they stop being effort and start being part of your identity. The woman who trains herself to wake up at the same time, review her goals, fuel her body properly, protect her focus, and close her day with reflection. She is not living a rigid life. She is living a life that is organized around purpose. Her time is not wasted. because it's already accounted for. Her attention is not scattered because she has built containers for it. Her goals are not fantasies because her habits are building them piece by piece. Routine is not about doing the same thing mindlessly. It is about doing the right things automatically. The more decisions you leave to chance, the more you become a prisoner of your moods. But when you have a system, when you know exactly what the next step is, regardless of how you feel, you reduce resistance. You bypass the inner negotiations. You take action not because you're inspired, but because it's already decided, and that makes you dangerous in the best way. You become consistent. You become steady. You become impossible to distract. This kind of power does not need to be flashy. In fact, it often goes unnoticed until the results begin to speak. While others are caught in cycles of overwhelm and self-sabotage, the woman with routine is moving forward quietly but relentlessly. She doesn't need to announce her progress because it becomes visible in how she carries herself, in how she speaks, in how she performs under pressure, in how she never seems to fall apart even when everything around her is shifting. And most importantly, routine protects you from the world's chaos. When life becomes unpredictable, the routines you've built become anchors. They give you something solid to return to. They hold you together when things outside your control begin to fall apart. They remind you that power isn't found in the noise or the drama. It's found in the structure you've designed for yourself. A woman who masters routine does not need to chase control. She already owns it, not because everything around her is perfect, but because everything within her is prepared.